Coming up, big industry news, Textron buys Pipistrel. See two 16-year-olds solo 4 airplanes each.
Plus, behind the scenes of the Wright Brothers Cycle Shop and safety tips for backcountry flying. All this and more in just a moment.
Well, here's some electrifying news. Textron has just announced that it is going to buy Pipistrel.
Pipistrel is well known for its innovative aircraft designs, and they were the first to certify an all-electric aircraft. So Pipistrel will take its place in Textron's new e-aviation division.
Yeah, that's right. And Tom Horn has been following Textron and Pipistrel for years, and he joins us now to explain what this may all mean. Hey, Tom, what do you make of this big news?
Well, potentially it means the ultimate mainstreaming of electric aviation in the U.S. Electrically powered light airplanes are a big deal in Europe, but not so much in the U.S., where it's a niche product, a niche activity. But Textron has the marketing, sales, and PR clout that could push this thing forward and incidentally give moral support to other electrically powered aircraft manufacturers to make a bigger push and be more successful in selling more electric airplanes here in the U.S.
So besides just the electric aircraft, will they be selling any other models here in the U.S.?
Well, I get the feeling that they're going to focus on either end of the light plane area. It looks like they're going to push the Velis Electra, which is a 2-seat electrically powered Part 23 airplane that will be certified in the U.S. under Level 1 rules, which will allow a Part 23 airplane to have an electric propulsion system. That's a 2-seater, 45-knot stall, and that's at one end of the spectrum. The other end, I think they will push the Panthera, which is a 200-knot airplane, 4-seater. It's a sort of augmentation to the Bonanza. They've said that they will not replace the Bonanza with the Panthera, but that the Panthera will complement the Bonanza. Rob Scholl is the Senior VP of Textron eAviation, and he says the innovation of Pipistrel and the might of Textron are a complementary partnership.
And so their innovative entrepreneurial approach, you take the capabilities that Textron has to certify aircraft and the resources that we bring, I think it's a great fit between the two businesses. We're committed to maintaining the Pipistrel brand. It is going to be separate and unique from Textron Aviation because they do have a different approach to aviation. And we also want there to be a focus on the sustainable aviation piece. So Pipistrel as an entity is going to stay unique. The brand is going to stay unique. We have no plans to change their current product line that they offer around the world with their distributors. So from the Taurus to the SW128, up through the Velis in their current product line, we plan on continuing to market, sell, and support those aircraft.
Okay, they might be complementary, but they're two very different companies, but maybe this is the kind of synergy we need to get the electric aircraft movement more momentum, and the eVTOLs as well.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Yeah, a lot of innovation there coming out of Pipistrel. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. We have a lot more information about the deal on our website, so look there for more coverage.
Also this week, Textron Aviation announced that the Cessna SkyCourier has earned FAA type certification. The big twin turboprop will first go to FedEx, which has ordered 50 and has an option on 50 more. The huge cabin can haul 3 industry standard LD3 pallets. In the passenger variant, it will carry up to 19 folks in a stand-up cabin with overhead baggage bins. It took just 10 months from first flight to certification. While it was still in the testing phase, AOPA Pilot Magazine editor-at-large Tom Horn flew the SkyCourier Ironbird test platform. Read more about that in the March issue of AOPA Pilot Turbine Edition. So, Tom, you clearly aren't in our studios at AOPA HQ today. Why the travel mode?
Yeah, well, Nikki, great observation. I'm actually in AOPA's DC office today and have been in DC for the last couple of days for the FAA's FAA and Industries Eliminate Aviation Gasoline Lead Emissions Roundtable. You remember that last month we told you about the EAGLE initiative and what it is that the FAA and the industry are doing collaboratively to try to get all the way through the process of finding an unleaded fuel, not only getting the fuel identified, but also all the infrastructure necessary to make it happen. And Mark Baker, president and CEO of AOPA, of course, is co-chairman of the project, and he was pleased with the level of collaboration over the last couple of days.
And what's really important about the group that was pulled together here over the last couple of days, it represented everybody that's involved. Swift, GAMI, Phillips was online, Exxon was on the line, all the producers then that are involved, and the distributors, the FAA, the regulators, engine manufacturers, OEMs, Cirrus was here. So I can't think of a better group of working individuals to try and find the solution and communicate it correctly.
Meanwhile, Earl Lawrence, a longtime pilot and aircraft owner, is heading up the effort at the FAA. He is co-chair with Mark. And at the media briefing, he explained how EAGLE is different and complementary to PAFI, the Piston Aviation Fuels Initiative, was started about a decade ago, but hasn't yet yielded an unleaded fuel.
EAGLE program is not replacing the PAFI program. The PAFI program is a key pillar to the success of this replacement of 100 low lead. One of the things that we highlighted in the meeting today and yesterday was the fact that there are so many other things that are affected than just what is being done in the PAFI program. But there was one presentation that I thought was really good, or one comment that came from a propeller manufacturer pointing out how even the vibration levels in a propeller can be affected by a fuel, and it could change the longevity of a propeller and the life of a propeller.
And while EAGLE has promised to transition to an unleaded fuel by 2030, some airports, unfortunately, are already attempting to eliminate 100 low lead at their airports. At least in some cases, they have ulterior motives.
And we have committed publicly as an industry to move away from this fuel no later than 2030. But it is it's a point of contention on a few airports, notably in California, but it is spread, and we have a lot of work to do to communicate why we believe we can do this in a reasonable period of time and the safety of flight, because we can't operate on automotive fuels, and most of these airplanes today that burn most of the fuel. We have to have a safe way to maneuver these aircraft, and we need that fuel that can support them. And that's why we can't just stop selling it today.
So, Nikki, lots to consider coming out of this, the need to support unleaded fuel candidates already in progress, while also looking at all the production and distribution challenges, downstream impacts as well, of a potential new fuel. And it is, after all, a global issue, and we only have one chance to get this right. So lots more to come. Stay tuned. We'll be updating you all along about this big project. Hey, and while we're talking about stuff in Washington, next week we'll be holding the annual Bob Hoover Awards. That's a big gala just across the river at Reagan National Airport. This year, the top honor goes to Wally Funk. Most of the nation got to know her when she rode into space in Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket last year. But Wally has a storied career and is truly an aviation pioneer.
Wally is the first woman who became an FAA inspector, and then the first woman to become an NTSB investigator.
We'll also be presenting the GA Safety Award, the Hartranft and Sharpless Awards, and the General Charles McGee Aviation Inspiration Award. It all happens next Wednesday, March 23rd, and you are invited. Details at aopa.org/Hoover.
Your freedom to fly started in a Dayton bicycle shop at the turn of the 20th century. Before they took to the skies, Wilbur and Orville made bikes. Their shop is preserved for you to visit by the National Park Service. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop takes us there as part of our series on the National Aviation Heritage Area.
Where are we?
We're at the Wright Bicycle Shop right now.
What park is it? The Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park.
Yeah, it's right there on the sign.
It's a little park with a big name and an important role in history. Checking in on the Pilot Passport feature of the AOPA app and then stepping inside to see where it all began.
They were in here from 1895 to 1897.
There's 3 important takeaways.
The first major importance of this facility is it's the only one remaining in its original location. 2, I would say that in August of 1896, learning about Otto Lilienthal's death, this was where they decided they're going to solve the problem of flight. And then 3rd, they're becoming skilled and proficient with the tools that are going to be necessary when they enter aviation technology and experimentation.
The shop stands frozen in time to when the Wrights were using it to build the skills that would lead to the first flight.
Think of this as their training classroom to learn the necessary skills that's going to lead them into aviation technology.
And for the National Aviation Heritage Area, it's an important place to help tell the story of the Wrights that's bigger than just the first flight.
We're usually getting, which is Wright Brothers airplane Kitty Hawk. Now we can bring it to life where this is their neighborhood. This is where they worked, lived, and played.
In Dayton, Ohio, Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
There are pilot passport check-ins all across the National Aviation Heritage Area. Find more on our website. In just a moment, we'll head out to Nashville to check in at the Women in Aviation Conference.
And a whole slew of solos on 2 young pilots' 16th birthdays. Stay with us.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's Daryl Freeman. I'm a pilot. I have over 3,000 hours of flying. I am a single engine land rated. I've been an entrepreneur for the past 25, 30 years. I've owned several businesses. I own a Pilatus PC-12NG. I have done numerous charity trips. I've been involved with Angel Flight over the years. I've done mission trips. I've flown to Haiti. That's one of my favorite uses of the plane is to help people. I want you to know that I do not take a trip in this plane if I don't have XM weather working. I use aviation weather to do strategic planning, not tactical planning. I use it to determine where the weather is, where the storms are, and what route I'm going to take to get around it. I'm actually on a trip right now. We're 3 hours into it and had to deviate about an hour for weather, but thanks for Sirius XM weather, I was able to do that successfully. Sirius XM weather takes the guesswork out, and that's why I use it.
Welcome back. The Women in Aviation International Conference is kicking off today in Nashville, Tennessee. The goal is to inspire, engage, and connect female aviators. AOPA Technical Editor Jill Tallman is at the conference. Jill, what all is happening this week at WAI?
Well, Nikki, the last time that Women in Aviation held an in-person event was 2020 in Orlando. And I was there, and we were washing our hands, and we didn't know if it was okay to shake hands or hug. And then the world shut down about a week later. It's quite different this year. As you can see, it's highly well attended, and the mood is upbeat, and people are just glad to be out and about and connecting. And that's what Women in Aviation is all about.
Yes, we are thrilled to be back in person. We had to go virtual last year, and the energy just isn't matched on a Zoom type platform. So we have about 170 exhibitors here, over 4,000 attendees from all over the world. Thankfully, we have some international participation, and we are just gathering over the next 3 days to inspire each other, to network, and to learn. We have a ton of education content as well.
Well, that's wonderful. I've never been to one of those myself. I'd love to get out there. What's your favorite thing about the conference, just for you personally?
For me personally, it's a chance to just be with 4,000 women pilots. The mood is upbeat. You get a lot of inspiration. There's always inspiring people here. Women in aerospace, women in the military, women doing all kinds of things. You get a lot of inspiration, and you get a morale boost, and you make friends wherever you go.
That's awesome. Well, I really hope to get to one soon. Thank you so much for talking to us.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Great reports, and that's always such a good show. Meanwhile, backcountry and mountain flying have gained tremendous popularity in recent years. It offers a new challenge, a great way to sharpen flying skills, breathtaking views, and a chance to get off the grid for the ultimate feel of freedom. But flying in the backcountry comes with a unique set of challenges and risks. That's why the AOPA Air Safety Institute developed the Backcountry Resource Center.
Backcountry Resource Center came about as a product of the Backcountry Safety Coalition. So the Air Safety Institute is working with just a slew of groups to help with backcountry safety and stewardship. And we all thought we need a resource center that helps people, if they're interested in backcountry safety, where do they start? So that resource center is a place to start, and it's just a starting web page, so we're up and running, and then it'll funnel people off to other places to go to find more content around the web.
Now, the Resource Center has the information you need to prepare your aircraft, your skills, and be ready for the environment you're heading into. The Air Safety Institute also has a series of webinars about backcountry flying. You can also find those in the resource website. And if you're looking for another way to challenge your flying skills, why not try an air race? The Sport Air Racing League promotes open course air racing for experimental, production, and vintage military aircraft. The mostly one-day events range from 100 to 400 miles in length. Rather than zipping around a short multi-lap closed course, racers are started at timed intervals in a fastest first starting order. There are 5 events planned for this year, the first at the beginning of April at Keolan Field in Georgia. Find out more at the Sport Air Racing League website.
A milestone this week for some young aircraft builders in Florida. A group of teens in Naples have spent 2 years building a sling. Now, the first engine start on the airplane they built. The build is a project of EAA Chapter 1067. Congrats on the milestone. We look forward to seeing you flying it. There's no flying milestone quite like your first solo. AOPA eMedia Associate Editor Kayla McLeod was there for 2 teens who had unforgettable solos on their 16th birthday.
This birthday will be hard to top. James Frank and Adam Sarsfield celebrated their back-to-back 16th birthdays by soloing for the first time at Peach State Aerodrome in Georgia. James started with a Piper Super Cub, then he went straight to a T6 Texan, a J3 Cub, and finally an Aeronca Champ. Adam went from a Super Cub to an Aeronca Chief, then a Champ, and finally a Cessna 172. That's 4 airplanes each.
Definitely excited, a little bit nervous, but other than that, it was awesome.
Airplanes are much lighter with only one person in them.
James and Adam both grew up in and around general aviation. Their fathers raised them with an innate love for flying, and as a result have created built-in co-pilots for their tail-dragging adventures.
My dad got me started young and soloed on my birthday, 16th birthday. And I wanted the same for James, and he just, he kind of embraced the whole aviation thing, and here he is.
Adam's been such a good kid. He's been flying with me since he was probably 4 years old, and he's very passionate about it and loves it. He's been to 10 Oshkoshes in a row, and he's so passionate about aviation, so it was a huge emotional day for me.
For Adam, flying the Aeronca Chief was the most difficult, but the most meaningful.
That's been my dad's plane since I think 1985. And I don't know why it's such a hard plane. The rudder is insanely big. It's kind of hard to see out of, and it just darts every which way. So getting to fly that plane was definitely a little bit nerve-wracking, but I handled it very well, I think.
I'd say the most exciting was the T6.
The T6 is a notoriously difficult airplane to fly, but that didn't seem to faze James thanks to months of intense training with Warbird flight instructor and designated pilot examiner Alan Miller.
The day was awesome. He flew a lot of airplanes. The landing he did in the T6 today was phenomenal. A lot of pressure, everybody out here watching him. We got a great group of kids here. I was a little dismayed this morning when I woke up and heard the T6 running already, and I called his dad and I said, "What's up? Just warming up?" He said, "No, he's getting ready to go." So I left my waffles in the toaster and ran down here just in time to see him take off. So I guess he figured last night he had the endorsement in his logbook, he was good to go. A little unorthodox, but he nailed it. He's a unique kid.
The success of the day wouldn't have been possible without the aviation community at Peach State coming out to support James and Adam. The teens flight instructor, Jacob Gates, also soloed here, so for him, it's all come full circle.
Enjoy getting to fly with them. I had so many people invest into me, and now I'm able to give it back, and so it's kind of cool to see it, be able to give back to what was given to me, so it's pretty neat.
Kayla McLeod, AOPA Live.
Wow. Those are some impressive teens. I remember my solo like it was yesterday. Oh, they're going to have this story to tell for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. Man, what a story you'll have to tell. I feel kind of like a slacker having soloed just a 150 on my 16th birthday, but I thought that was a pretty good accomplishment. But 4 airplanes, and those are some tough airplanes, too, so way to go. Really happy for you. Well, hey, that's it for this week. Thank you for spending some time with us. We'd love for you to be an AOPA pilot if you're not already.
Find out how at the link on your screen. We'll see you next week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.